This free course that I've offered here on my Waxless channel is something I made about 6 or 7 years ago. It's influenced by the Patrick Adams sort of style of raw disco from the mid to late 70s. It's not polishy, it's not clean, it's not, full on. It's raw with original live drums and, percussion, and, it's got like live bass in there and stuff like that, which you can all learn how to do on this free course. The reason why I'm giving this away is because a lot of you now, with all due respect, are probably not that bothered about learning how to play a bass line. You're just going to get Suno to do it, and that's the way it goes. However, some people out there want to learn how to play and do stuff still. And this course gives you loads of tips and tricks on how to produce genuine sounding mid to late 70s disco that was coming out of New York. I'm not talking about this Saturday Night Fever nonsense. I'm talking about the raw underground stuff on Patrick Adams, Queen Constance labels, and P&P and all that kind of rough around the edge sort of feel with a lot of genuine soul and feel to it. Now, if you want to learn how to take some of those elements and some of those key skills and techniques, watch this tutorial. It's free. There's no catch. There's nothing. I'm not trying to get anything out of you. Just giving it away, as I'm going to start giving away a lot of my older courses now. Now, there are some techniques on here that I have moved on from that I wouldn't do now, maybe. A couple of mixing things that I'd enhance on. So, take with it with a pinch of salt some of the things and go, actually, I can do that better. You probably can now. It says 6 years ago, remember. So I'm giving away this course. The link for the resources and the drum patches and stuff and the synths, the third-party plugins, is in the description below. Just grab the link from there. Follow the course through, see how you get on. But not necessarily follow the course, but take some tips from it. Learn about lead lines, learn about chords, learn about the right sound combination. Putting together the clavinet and the Rhodes and the live bass and the pad and, all that sort of thing. So there's plenty to learn from this. Anyway, enough waffling. Enjoy the course. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if it's, something you want to develop, do give me a shout and we can talk. But this course is just strictly free to give away to everybody. Also, grab the samples pack in the resources because there's some good drum hits in there anyway. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the video.
In this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to insert all of the synths and the VSTs and the sample parts, and then we're going to start the process of producing the track. So let's go through a few things first. What we need to do in this is to drag over the synths that you've installed. So hopefully you've installed the Tyro synth, which is here, and the FB3300, the Tyrell again for a different one. We've got a drum rack in there, which we've got bells 6 deep. We've got the guitar samples, which we can come to later. And also you've installed the contact player, which is, obviously the biggest thing to install. As I say, if you've already got a live bass virtual instrument, then so be it, use that. But if you haven't, then obviously I strongly recommend using the contact. And it's got loads of other great free sounds as well. So in this tutorial, we're going to use the funk bass within that. And also we've got percussion in there, which is the percussion core kit built into Ableton. And we've got some more samples in a drum rack, which I've inserted. So first things first, we've got the clavinet, okay? And that is in the Tyrell. So you open up the Tyrell and you go to presets. And in there, in the TUC section, which if you can't find it in the local section, it will be in the unshushable Cocteau, which is this one. And it's called the Synth Clavinet 2, okay? And we don't do anything to the settings, I just leave it as it is. And that just gives us that funk sound that we need. So we've got that. So that's that first thing we need. And then, so hopefully you've installed the Tyrell. So we've got that in there. And the second one is the FB3300, 3300, whatever. And that looks like this. And there's a hell of a lot going on there. But what we want to do with this is, it's just a simple polyphonic synth, but it's just got all of the, characteristics and buttons that you would need for a vintage synth. But we need to go into the program banks down here, and we need to just open up what we've got there. And it is basically the String Machine, which is a 70s synth sound, which was And it basically is just a 70s sound, which is like an early pad sort of sound. And it's really kind of eerie and crystally and really phasey. So we've got that sound in there. So that's the string sound. And it's like one of those sounds that you would hear a lot in a lot of those late 70s records when synths became polyphonic. And they used this sound, which was quite popular. So we've got that in there. So hopefully you should have that. And then next up, what we need is the worm lead sound out of the Tyrell. So insert another copy of the Tyrell in and open it up again. And again, it's in the TUC section, in the local section. If not, look for it in the Unshushable Cocteau. And it's called the Vintage Worm. Now this sound is just pure Patrick Adams. And if I just select the correct thing, there you go. So we have got the cutoff should be around between 5 and 6, and the resonance should be between 6 and 7. It makes no difference really, but it you know, that's entirely up to you. But to get this sort of sound, keep him around those settings. So we get that sort of, you know, spacey sound. So we've got that. We're going to pitch bend it with the modulation, so it gets that wobble. So we've got that in there, okay? Next up then, what we're going to do is we're going to insert a drum rack. So I want you to go over to drums, grab a blank drum rack and put that in like so. Okay? And I'm going to put that now like this. I'm going to redo it. And there we go. We've got a blank drum rack. Okay, so what we're going to do is then we're going to get the kick disco drum and put that onto C1. Okay, like so. I'm just going to solo my drum pattern because I've already created the pattern, but I want to show you how to put the sounds in. So we've got that in there. And then we're going to get the close hat and we're going to put that on D1. Like that. And then we're going to open disco hat. We'll get the open disco hat. Put that on D sharp. There you go. And then we're going to get the snare and we're going to put that on E1. And there you go. There's a basic beat. We'll come back to that in a minute. I just want to get the sounds in there and then we'll come to this in the next session. Okay, then get the crash. Put that on F sharp. We're going to play that later. And then get the clap group. Put that on F1. So it plays like this. Okay, so that's that. That's the main drum samples put in there. Okay, next up then, what we want to do is we want to get the Bells 6 deep sound. Now that is located in, if I go to instruments and I type up here Bells, let me just type in Bells 6 and that will help. And that's in collision. Mallets, Bells 6. And there we go. And we open that up and drag that onto a channel and that is this bell sound. Straightforward sort of bell sound, but it's really effective in what we're going to be doing. Okay, so get that over. That's the Bells 6 deep sound. Okay. Next up, what I want you to do is I want you to get the guitar stabs in. And what we need to do for this is get a simpler. So we go to instruments, and then we'll close that off, X that off. Go to instruments and simpler, and we're going to put in a simpler. I'm just going to redo it down here to show you what we've got to do. And we're going to get the samples again, and you're going to get the funk guitar stab. That's this sound. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that into the simpler down here like this. And that's going to play like this. Let me just play it on a keyboard. There we go. And that sound is all we want from that is the very first note. So we're going to grab this flag here, drag it down, and that's all we're going to keep there, look. So it only plays that one note, that one sound. Okay. And then what we do in that, what we did was we transpose it down too, because that is in D. Its natural key is D. But we want it to fall onto the C. So we're going to just go to transpose. We're going to press 1 sharp, transpose -2. Like so. So it's exactly the same as the one that I've already done. Obviously I've got a load of effects on there. So that's going to be that one. So that's what you do for that. You're going to come back to the actual effects of it in another session. So that's that. That's the funk guitar put in. Okay. I'm just going to delete mine because I've already got it. Then the next thing we're going to do is we want to get in the guitar riff. Okay. Now this is a sample like this. Let's play this. Okay, so what you need to do is grab the guitar riff. And there you go. It sounds really different, doesn't it, from what we've got here? It's because I've pitched it up and I've tuned it into the track. So just grab that and throw that over like so. Okay, and that's all you need to do for that, and then we'll do some processing on that in the next session. Okay, then the next thing we need to do is to get the contact up, which hopefully you've installed. And in this contact player is a bunch of free sounds. So once you've installed it all and you've registered with Native Instruments, which is really worth doing anyway, you get a load of sounds. And in there, I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and you've got Band, Synth, Urban Beats, Vintage, and Wood. And these are the free sounds that you get. Contact player only plays these free sounds. You can get the premium ones, but they only play for about 15 minutes. You have to have a full version of the Contact 6 player at the time of recording this, that is. To get the full package, obviously, but the contact player is like a free starter, but it's got some pretty cool sounds in. It's got all these in, and all you're doing is getting the funk bass, and that is it. You just grab that, drag it over, and from there we go. And it's got lovely little, sort of characters there. So it's worth getting, completely worth getting, and it's perfect for this project. So that's your bass guitar on the Contact. So it does take a little bit of time to install, but once you've done it, it's worth doing. Next up, what we want to get is the Percussion, and that is the core kit, which is built in within Ableton. So go to your drum rack and go to Percussion core kit, put that over, and these, what we need there is like the bells and these sort of sounds. So on and so on. They're what we need for a little bit later on. So get that in there and make sure you've got that. And then finally, we have the percussion that we're going to put in ourselves, which is the congos. So grab a drum rack, a plain one, pop that down there, go back to your samples and get perk 1 down here on C1. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. And then on D1, get perk 2. And then on E1, perk 3. So perk 3 on E1. And then perk 4 on F1. And perk 5 on G1. And there you go. And that should look like that. And what we'll do with that is it'll be... There you go. Okay, so you've got those sounds in there, and that should sound like this eventually. There you go. But we'll come back to the processing of that later, so when it comes with adding reverbs and delays and stuff, we'll do that in the next session. Don't worry about that now. All we need to do right now is get in all of the sounds and get everything selected. So let's do a quick recap of what we've got. In the track 1, we have the Clavinet from the Tyrell. Got that in there, okay. Track 2, we have the FB3300 string machine. And in track 3, we have the worm lead. The most important sound for this kind of tutorial. So we've got that in there. Track 4, we've got the actual drums. Okay, that we're putting ourselves. Track 5, we've got the Bells 6 Deep sound from within Ableton. Got that in there. Track 6, we've got the guitar. And we'll come back to the processing of that. Track 7 is the guitar sample itself. which is the wah wah. Okay. Track 8 is the bass on the contact player. Track 9 is the percussion. Okay. And track 10 is the percussion that we've added ourselves. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. So what I want to do in the next lesson is start arranging the track and start putting it together and getting things moving. So, any questions, just email me and I'll respond within 24 hours. Head over to the next session where we start to put in the riffs and get things moving. Thank you for watching and goodbye. Hi and welcome to lesson 1 of the disco tutorial where we're going to create a drum beat. As I explained in the introduction of this video, this track that we're going to make is heavily influenced by Patrick Adams and the P&P record sound of the mid to late 1970s. What we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to create a very simple drum pattern using original drum disco sounds. So, first things first, all we're going to do is we're going to select the drums. In the previous lesson we put it together in the drum rack, and that's going to be these sounds. And we're going to create a little beat, and we're just going to use the snare, the hi-hats and the kick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put on the metronome and we're going to set the tempo at around 105, 107. So I'm going to leave it at 107. But you can go anywhere between 100 and 115, 120. But for the purposes of this, we're going to stick to 107. Now, the tracks that influenced me was Patrick Adams' production by an artist called Donna McGee and her album. Now, if you want to go and check some of those tracks out, I encourage you to do so. You'll hear the sort of sound that we're going to create within this tutorial. Obviously, you've heard the demo track anyway, so you know what we're going to be doing. But as I say, I wanted to make sure that you are clear that we're doing that kind of style rather than a more commercial disco kind of style. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put the metronome on, I'm going to press record, and I'm just going to do a very simple drum pattern. So here we go. Okay, there we are. Let's just get that in, and then pull that back, and then we're going to create one little loop, and I'm going to double click on it, and there we go. There's the drum pattern. So it's going to select all of those, and then we're going to quantize, and that is on a Windows PC, Control and U. And there's go. We're missing out a kick underneath the snare, so I always forget to do that when I do a drum pattern. Because of the way my fingers operate. I just can't get the finger drumming right. So anyway, just drawing a kick on every bar. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to put up the volumes. Let's just check this. And we're going to select the hi-hat, which is this one. And then we're going to pull down the velocities on the hi-hat. So we're just going to select them there and pull them down slightly so that they're not around 112, 115. We're going to eventually probably break this down and separate it anyway, but for now we just want that standard kick drum and hi-hats and snare. And there we go, that's that. And then what we're going to do then is we're going to put that there and put that there like so. So we've got two instances of it, and we're going to consolidate two of them together. Then what we're going to do at the very end of this is we're going to do a little fill with the snare drum. Now if we listen to the pattern I made earlier, like that. So it's got two snares going through it. So all we need to do with that, and to replicate that, we can do this by hand, is go to the last snare of our pattern, and we've got that snare playing there, and then we want two snares in this section here. So I'm just going to half that, draw that in so it goes like this. Pull that back one more, like that, so it goes so. There you go, so it goes so it gives it that little bit of drum fill there that we need. Okay, so that's the very first beat that we've got in so far. What we also need to put in at the very start of this is, what we're going to do is we're going to break some of the drum sounds down and have their own channels. This will be for the purposes of mixing down later on. So what I did originally in the drum pattern was that we had the crash on here as well, which is there on the F sharp. I want that to have its own channel so that we can EQ it separately to the drums. Now then, we could do that. We could EQ it in here if we wanted, which would save on space, but I just would like to have its own channel. So I'm going to duplicate the drum channel, okay, and I'm going to delete what was already there, and then I'm going to change the colour so there's no confusion. I'm just going to give it a yellow, and I'm going to call this crash, and we're going to record the crash in separately there. So it's just like an intro crash. And there you go, simple and straightforward, no messing about. Double click and then quantize the crash again so that it's on the line. And there we go. And what we're going to do next is copy that drum pattern over again like so, like that. So we've got two of those. Okay, so the crash is sounding quite ruffled and a little bit muddy. So what we need to do is take an EQ8 from our audio effects, double click, click number 1 and change to a low pass. So we're taking out the bottom end. So we change to this one and we scroll across and we move number 2 over as well. And we scroll across until you can see the pattern, the wave where the EQs need to mold around. Turn the EQ off. It's much better, isn't it? It's taken away just that little bit of muddiness. And there you go. And it's starting to build up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of percussion. So we need to create, obviously, the channel you've already created where you've got the congos in on a drum rack. And that's, you've got 5 drum samples there from percussion. And we can create any kind of pattern you want here. I think it's important to have a bit of variation and a little bit of improvisation in terms of using congos and percussion so that it sounds real and, you know, spontaneous. But you can keep a very simple pattern if that's what you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a little bit of percussion in on this section here, like so. So I'm going to press record at about halfway, and then I'm going to go for it from here. Just like that. And all I've done is I've just improvised. It's a completely randomly made pattern. And I'm going to open that up and quantize those. Let's just make sure they're all there. So you don't have to quantize them. Obviously, if they're loose, it sounds even more organic, which is a great thing. But for the purposes of this, I just want to make sure it's all tight. And that's a nice little pattern. And it's just random, totally random. And as I say, as the track goes along, we can change the pattern and make it more organic and make it sound like it's more realistic. So I've done a little pattern there. Try and improvise or try and completely copy that pattern that I've done. Look, so I'll solo it again, and I'll just leave it on the screen for you. Make sure that you extend the notes as well, so you get the full value of each sound. Obviously these have been taken from real percussion, they're samples, so okay, so as I say, create your own or just copy that. What we need to do is add a little bit of reverb to this, so go over to session view, click this tab here. So what we need to do is look at our send channels over here, which are our bus channels, okay. And we've got our send volumes here, and these are where they're going to be sending the effects from there over to our individual tracks. So usually when you open up a standard default Ableton setting, you'll have a reverb and a delay. Now usually the delay looks like this. It should be a simple delay, 100% dry wet, 20% roughly on feedback. Okay, like so. So that's left at that. But the reverb, I've changed the one that's already in there to a ballad reverb. So we go into our effects, go to reverb, go to hall, and it's the first one there, ballad. And this is just a little bit of a shorter reverb. Rather than use a concert hall, which is what I normally go for, you use a shorter reverb. And then you take that and you replace the one on there with that one. And now this is the one that we can send to each individual channel, so we don't have to have loads of different reverbs on each channel, which clog up the mix and clog up the CPU. So that's done. And now what you want to do is, I'm just going to turn these down, listen to it dry, and there you go, it's totally dry. Turn up the sound A, which is our ballad reverb, and there you can feel it comes through now. It's carrying that reverb and it's nice and steady. Put a bit of delay on the send on B. You can go as high or low as you want. I'll just keep it at about 11 o'clock and keep the send A on the reverb at around about 1, 2 o'clock. And there you go. I keep the reverb off the drums at the moment, we don't need them. We'll come back to the processing of the drum beat at a later date. And there you go. And that's that. Next up then, what we want to do is we want to make sure we've got a little bit of percussion in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste over these two again and again. So we've got 4 instances of this, okay? So we've got the intro, and let's just play that. I'm going to copy another one over there as well. And I'm going to turn the volume down slightly on the crash, just between there. That's better. We don't want it to be too piercing. So that comes in like so. Then the congos come in. And this is where something else is going to happen here. Okay. So that's the end of this session. What I want to do in the next session is put some percussion in, and then we'll probably put in a bass line or the clavinet and some of the bells. So head over to the next lesson where we'll take it from there. But recapping on this one, we should have a little drum pattern in there with just the hi-hats, the snare and the kick, the crash done on a separate channel, and the congos done with the reverb and a little bit of delay. Head over to the next lesson. Any questions, just email me and I'll respond within 24 hours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Hi, and welcome to lesson 2, where we're now going to focus on installing the clavinet riff and some of the percussion. Okay, so in the previous lesson we did a little bit of a drum pattern, and we got a little arrangement going where we put some congos in and an added crash. Now then, in this, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the riff. Now if you listen to the riff on its own, when the one that I've pre-recorded, it goes like this. Really nice 70s sort of sound. Nothing special. It's a really simple riff, and what we're going to do is we're going to focus on that, and I'm going to teach you how to produce that and perform that as well. You don't need any piano skills, you just need to follow exactly what I do and I will show you. But obviously if you've got creative piano skills, then you're fine. Dead easy. So first things first, make sure you've got the Clavinet 2 sound up, which is the Synth Clavinet sound from the Tyrell Synth, which is in the Unshushable Cocktail section, which is here. If you can't find it, it's in there. But it should also be in the local file, which is a selection of the best sounds within the synth. But if not, go to there and you will find it. Okay, so if we close that and we set up a channel, now what we need to do is, before we do anything, is a little bit of processing. Now yours will sound like this. Dead dry and dead straightforward. What we need to do is we need to grab a ping pong delay and pull that down here and set it to around anywhere between 20% and 30% on each of the settings. So I'm going to go for 25% on my dry wet. You can just type it in there. So 25% on that and 25% on the feedback also. And that will be, it just gives us that little bit of delay. Okay, so we've got that in there. So do that. And then what we need to do is go back to our effects unit and grab a phaser and pull a phaser down and turn that on, a straightforward phaser. Forget going through all of them, just use this one. And this one will go, and that instantly just gives it that kind of phasey wow wow sort of sound. And get your dial and put it over here somewhere. You can You can set it to any sort of setting, but I'm going to set it around here, just on the right hand side, like that. Just give it a little bit. Right, it's a little bit muffled. Something like that. And it just gives it that sort of 70s vintage phasey sound that is what we are requiring here. Okay, now then, the riff itself. Let's get a keyboard up so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to find a sound that has a keyboard on it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get in a different synth. You just ignore the synth and just watch the keys so you can see exactly what notes are being played here. So if I grab a Dext, where's my Dext? There. If I put that in, you can see a little keyboard at the bottom here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off and I'm going to put that on and solo it, but you will see the Dext. So you can see what notes are being played down here when I use the keyboard. Like so. So I'm going to put that on, but I'm going to make sure that that is muted so that you can't see it. So here it goes. And there you go, you can see the notes being played. And what this is a C minor 7 chord with an A flat root, which is also called a slash chord if you're not familiar with the terminology. So basically what that means is on your left hand you will play one singular note on usually the lowest octave, which in this case is C1, in the first octave, and that's the A flat there, look. And then in the octave above, which is generally the C2 octave, I'm going to play a G, a B flat, a C, and an E flat or a D sharp, however you look at it. And there you go, like that. Okay, like that, and I'm going to go. So it's A on the left hand, A flat, G, B flat, C, and then D sharp, E flat. And that's the riff we're going to do. That's the first part of the riff. So basically it's two chords, two of them are played twice, and the next chord is a G minor 7. So let's go from the very beginning. We've got this chord. You're going to record this in. And you're going to stab the notes like that. Like that. And then we're going to go down to the G minor 7 chord. And that consists of G on the left hand. So you go from the A to the G. And the right hand is F, G, B flat, and a D. So it goes like this. Like that. Very simple. But what's going to happen on the next note up on the G minor 7 chord is like this. So we're going to go from the G to the B flat on the left. So it's going to go C minor 7 with the A, G minor 7 with the G, and then up to the B flat. Okay, and then it's going to go back to the C minor 7 with a C root, and that's the first riff. And all you're going to do is play with the notes like that. You're going to jangle them down. Very simple. It looks really difficult, but the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to press record, and I'm going to record the riff in, and then you can see exactly how it's done. So here goes. And there you go. Okay, we're not going to put this riff straight in. We're going to experiment with it. But first of all, I just want to get the riff recorded so that you know exactly what it is we're going to be working with. And if I open up the notes, let's just clear that. Let's just get a full screen. And there you go, look. Let me just loop that a second. Take off the crash for now. And the combos. First part of the chords. So yeah, as I say, you play
those notes. And just experiment with the pattern. Play it down. Like so. So let's get the actual keyboard up again. And experiment with this. So A flat, G, B flat, C, D sharp, or E flat. Then the G minor 7, which is G on the left hand, F, G, B flat, D. And then you go up 1 with the B flat on the left. And then the C minor 7 again, but with the C root. C, G, B flat, C, and D sharp. Okay, and that's that. And then the next part is repeated, but this time we're going to add 2 more chords, but they're exactly the same chord, but they've just got different root notes. So what's going to happen in the second section is it's going to go the same with the A flat on the left hand and the C minor 7 on the right hand. Then the B, the F, then it's going to be the... So what's going to happen is it's going to be on the same on the left hand, the A flat, the G, the B flat, the C and the D sharp. And then it's going to go down to the G minor 7 with the G root, up to the B flat. But this time it's going to do the alternative. It's going to stay on a G minor 7, but what's going to happen is we're going to go up an inversion. So we're going to take our finger off the F, and then we're going to move our hand over and we're going to swap to this F. And then we're going to swap our left hand to the C. So we're still playing exactly the same chord. It's the G minor 7 chord, but we've just flipped it over. So it's gone from like that. So it just raises the notes up, but it's exactly the same chord, but it has a C root now instead of a G root. So it gives it that extra lift. And then what we do is we play a E minor 7 root, but keep our left hand on the C. And that's what gives it that power at the end, which is an E minor 7 chord is a G, a B, a D, and an E. So let's go through that again. The second half is C minor 7 with the A root, down with the G minor 7 with the F and the G, the B flat and the D, up. We're going to flip the F from this side over to this F with the C root on the left. Then the E minor 7 chord, G, B, D and E with the same C note on the left. Like this. Perfect. And there you go. They are the chords. And that's all we are for the track. So if I just put on what I've recorded originally, you'll hear it. A little bit more notation in there. Just slightly more notes. But that's because I play loosely and I always kind of throw as many different types of variations as I can in there. There you go. Notes slightly longer there, really. That would probably help. So that's the pattern. So what I want to do is so then we're going to record the next half in now. So here it goes. And there you go. And there's the second half of the riff. Okay, it looks really daunting to watch someone else do it if you're not too familiar with playing, but once you just stand and practice these for 10, 15 minutes, however long it takes you, it soon comes together. It really does. If you've got a keyboard that only has 2 octaves, you should be okay. You should be okay, but if not, just draw the note in on the section after. So let's consolidate those. So let's have a look at that.
need to do for this part is we need to break that riff down. I'm going to delete that because I've already got it over here, so I've already created mine. But what we need to do is, if you get yours now and you've just recorded there, just save it across here to the right, to the left of the screen, so that you've got a copy, you know, like so, as a reference, as a backup. So don't forget to keep saving your work as you go along also. Very important. So next up, what we want to do is we want to get the riff as an intro riff. So what I mean by that is we're going to have just a couple of chords that are held, so they're hanging. So like this, look. Like that, we're going to build it up. So we're going to press record, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a build up for these chords to come in their full entirety. So it's going to go like this. So the first chord you have, the C minor 7. Like that. So I'm just playing with those first two chords, which is the one with the A flat root and then the G minor 7 with the G root. And I'm just stabbing them in but holding the notes down, so that the delay and the phase have time to breathe within the mix. So that's that, like that. So I'm going to double click on that and I'm going to quantize those. I don't know why they've done that, but still, let's just copy those over there. They're just a little bit too far out for some reason. So I'm just going to pull that in and I'm going to pull those across like this. That's better. And there you go. And we're going to build this up. We're going to copy that over. And let's just loop that. There we go, and then we're just going to pull that note on the line. Perfect, that's just exactly what we want there with that one. So that's that one then, that's just those two chords stabbed and just brought in nice and gently so that we can build it up. Okay, so that's that. So hopefully you've got the hang of that and you've recorded in your main riff. Next up then, what we want to do is we want to get some percussion in there. And that's the percussion that we got from the Ableton built-in banks, which is the percussion core kit. And in there we've got those sounds. We could use any one of these, but what I want to use is the vibra slap, which is that sound, and the bells here, that the little wood, what do you call them? Triangles. We've got the muted one, which is that one, and we've got the open one, just like hi-hats. And what we're going to do is we're going to start here, just before the riff comes in. We're going to put in some of these triangles and then put a vibra slap in like this. So it's going to go like this. And then obviously with the crash playing and the congas playing as well, it'll be effective. So open up your perc, what you've recorded, and you will see that you've got these little stabs in here, which I'm going to quantize. And I'm going to open that up and quantize that. And there we go. Perfect. So what I want you to do now is select this entire section here and copy it over like that. Okay, so we've got, make sure that's copied over as well. So we've got some of the triangles in there. So let's just double check with those triangles that we've got at the moment. Like this, look. They go like so. Okay, so it's just a simple, perfect little riff, which is just goes. Sorry, not that one, but that one. There you go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, in this section, we're going to probably put in some of the bells, okay? So let's have a look at what we can do with the bells. could do a little riff in there. You could do some sort of jangly sort of thing in there with the bells. So let's have a look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get one chord. Again, I'm going to open this up so you can see what I'm doing, so it helps with your playing. So I'm just going to press, let's just open that up, and that, and there we go. Look. So we're going to go like this, look. Just play little notes like that, so that it just has a little bit of atmosphere as the track builds up. So I'm going to press record from here, and I'm just going to have a little bit of the clavinet coming in, and then the bells are going to come in on this section here. So here we go. Let's press record. So I didn't like that last note, so I'm going to delete that, and open that up, and there we go. We've got a simple little riff there, and it's just experimenting. You don't have to do what I've done here. Bass will come in or something like that. So the track's starting to build. So let's do a recap on what we've got. We've got the percussion here, and the little clavinet riff which is starting. You could put more percussion in here if you wanted, like this. Those in, and there we go. As I say, with the bells riff, it's just a case of I've just done improvise on the chord. So all I've done is use the notes of the chord, look, which is the C minor 7 higher octave. You could use any sort of notes as long as you use those chords, which is the G, the B flat, the D, and the D sharp, and the C. Okay, so that's that for this lesson. I know it's a lot to take in, but honestly, I can assure you that the more you practice recording that clavinet riff, the better it will sound. So all you've got to do is just persevere with it. So let's just play that again. And there you go. Play those notes in. If not, just copy them off the screen. And you can see for yourself there if you can just want to take them and add them to your track if you're unfamiliar with playing. And we just put them onto the screen right now. So there you go. There's the notes for the clavinet riff. If you're not familiar with playing, you can just draw those in if you want to. So that's it for this lesson. We're going to go over to the next lesson where we're going to continue the arrangement and put some bass lines in and stuff like that. So any questions, any problems you have, just email me and I'll respond in 24 hours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Hi, and welcome to lesson 3, where we're going to now insert the bass line. In the previous lesson, we got all the section done. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend on that section, and we're going to copy over this section here, and we're going to put that in just there like that, so that we've got this carrying on. You could change the bells here if you wanted to, but I'm going to just leave it as it is for now. For continuity. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the bass channel, and hopefully you've installed the contact player, and that is over here like so. And once you've installed this and you've got all the free presets here, make sure that you go to Instruments, Band, and then choose the funk bass, which is there, and just leave it as it is. You don't have to do anything to it, and it should sound like this. It's got a nice sound to it. It's got all the little twangy bits, and which is good. So we've got that in. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a bass line over the clavinet that we recorded. So obviously I recorded a different one previously, but I'm going to loop this. I'm going to put a drum beat on here. So we've got this, and here's the bass line. Like so. So we're going to put on the same bass line that in the same chord, which is basically the C minor 7 with the A root. And then with 2 octaves. So I'm going to open it up, and you'll see that we'll go up 2 octaves here, first octave here, and the second octave here. So if we go like this, look. And there we go. Look. So what I've done is I've just alternated from one octave to another. And there, look. So I've played one octave, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes to the... And then it's... So we've gone from 2 octaves, 1 octave at the bottom to the one above. So it goes like that. Very simple bass line. Put it on with the clavinet. Okay, so that's that little bit of the bass done. So what I'm going to do is, because we've got the clavinet here where we extended it, I'm just going to change the colour of those just to so there's no confusion. So I'm just going to change them to a green. Okay, and that means that they're the flat notes that we did in the previous lesson, which was the stretched out chord. So it was like that. So what I want to do here is I want to got the bells playing. So we're going to play that for that section there, and then here I'm going to play a bass line, but I'm going to have like flat notes, so it's going to be like... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press record here, and then we're going to go from there. So let's just have a look what I've got. Put on a last note on the C, which is quite effective. So we're going to go all the way through with 2 octaves on the A, okay, and then the last note we're going to go up to the C. So I'm just going to quantize that, and then you'll see when I open up the screen, look, it's just gone. And back again. Might have to make some notes longer. Let's just copy that over. Let's just change the colour of that to yellow. And then we could put a crash in there as well, just give it a little bit more continuity. And that's better. So that's that bit done. So what I want you to do, let's just recap on that bass. So we're going to go into the bass, we're going to bring it in, and all we're going to do is we are going to do flat notes. So it's... So that it just builds and builds and builds. Because if we came straight in with the bass line, it would be too much probably. We want to be able to, we want to build it up because we're going to make a 12-inch version basically. So let's just go back over that bass then. So you have 2 octaves on the main bass. It doesn't have to be accurate, but as long as you use those chord notes, which is absolutely, a really nice simple riff to play. So if I'm going to put on the keyboard, you can see. So if I just go up to here, and it goes like this, look. there you go. So that's the bass pattern. So I'll put it up on the screen again so you can see. If you wanted to take a note of that. And there you go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into it and we're going to add a compressor. So I'm going to take a compressor off. I just want to give it a bit of beef. So I'm going to go to audio effects, grab a compressor and just pull the threshold down slightly. You can go a little bit louder. Just there. Take the compressor off. It's there, it's in the mix, but it's just not thumping through enough. So I want it to come through a bit more. And then what I want to do is I want to get an EQ8. So grab an EQ8 and just raise the bass here on the level 2. However much you want to do it. I mean, obviously everyone's speakers are different, and I'm doing this through headphones, so just bring up the low end frequency here as such. We'll come back to the EQ on the drums later on, but for now let's just get a nice fat bass sound in. There you go. So when we go back to the track here comes the bass. And then we're going to copy that over again, that entire section. So we'll do that again. And then something else is going to have to come in there. Maybe the string machine. Something like that, or something will come in, I don't know, but we're going to build it up and it's going to come in quite quickly soon. Get the whole track in there and then start going crazy with the worm lead and stuff like that. Quick recap again, we've got the bass line recorded in and we've got a flat bass for the build-up of the track and we've copied over some more of the arrangement. Any questions, just email me and I respond in 24 hours. Thank you for watching and head over to the next lesson. Goodbye. Hi and welcome to lesson 4 where we're going to add some more of the bass and we're going to change the clavinet sound so that it gets ready to go into the main body of the track. So far we've got the nice build up going on, which is this section. And here what I've done is I've cut out the percussion there because what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more in there. I want to change it slightly so it builds, so it goes something like that. I'm just going to do some quick little improvisation so that it's kind of like a drum fill and it just builds up there because we're going to change here. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. It's a good advice to do that yourself. So chop the Congo in half and then you can draw this in by hand, but I'm just going to record it in. I'm going to press the overdub button. Make sure your overdub button is on so you don't delete over the stuff that you already recorded. So I'm going to press record from here and I'm just going to do a quick drum fill. It's just going to be totally improvised just to gain momentum. Here goes. And there you go, totally completely and utterly improvised. So double click on that and I'm just gonna grab them. I mean, I could leave them unquantized. I might leave this section unquantized. It's far too digital, so I'm just going to drag that over slightly and give it a little bit of looseness. That's better, so it just gives it that thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quantize these first ones here because they kind of sort of need quantizing, but those with I've done the fill, they don't really need quantizing. I want them to be as loose as possible. So I'm just going to change the colour of that. I'm going to make that a green so that we know that that's the different one. So that's that for the conga bit. That's the different little bit we're doing with the conga. So what I'm going to do is put the crash over and the drum beats and then get a normal conga, put that in there. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to put in a different clavinet, so, and a different bass line too. But what we're going to do is I've already created one here, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is this one. And it's stabbing. It's the stabbing version. Like so. So what we're going to do is we are going to I'm going to press play here, look, and it's going to go like this. Like so. And I'll press record, I'll put the drums on, and then we can see what I've done. So basically all I'm doing is just short, sharp stabs. You could do them as fast or however you want. You could do them as 32s or, you know, like... It's just that the track changes and molds over into something different so that we can start the process of bringing in the main body of the track. So I'm going to start doing this now. Here we go. Make sure that's off. There we go, and that's all I want to do. Yeah, make sure that you've always got your overdub on when you're playing on top of other recorded works. And there we go, look, it's just short stabs, and I'm going to quantize that lot. Make sure there's no loose notes. And there we go. And now what we've got to do is change the bass. So if I just select the bass, and then this time we're going to do this bass line here, look. So it's similar to what we did in the last one where it was... but what we're going to do now is we're going to do... like that. So... two A flats, two G's, and then up to the C. So we're missing out the B flat. Okay, so it's very simple, very straightforward, but it just gives it that little bit of a roll that we need to continue. And here goes. And there we go. Just little stabs, and it just gives the bass line a whole new variation using the same notes, but just in a different way. What I want to do is just extend some of these bass notes like this, look. Just there though, the second one on each line. There we go. That's better. And that just makes it roll over better, and it just stabs better as well. And here goes. Don't forget to put your little thing in there, which is the... I can't remember what it's called now. What's it called? The vibroslap. Make sure you put that over as well. So let's just do a quick recap. We've got the bass and the clavinet playing different variations of the actual riff of the same chords. And the bass, just copy that over and copy over the clavinet again. Okay, so that's the end of this tutorial. Head over to the next one in a moment, where we are going to focus on putting some more of the bells in and probably putting some of the guitar in. So these guitar stabs here. Probably going to get those in now, and then we're going to get the track copied over from here, another section, and then the whole body's going to come in, and then we can start improvising with the worm lead and stuff like that. So, quick recap, you've got the bass in, and we've got the new variation of the clavinet. And there we go. And this track's starting to take shape, so hopefully you've got all that. Any problems, any questions, just email me, and I'll get back to you in 24 hours. Thank you for watching and head over to the next lesson. Thank you and goodbye. Hi and welcome to this lesson where we're now going to focus on the guitar stabs. In the introduction lesson, I got you to insert this using the simpler. What we're going to do now is we're just going to play in a short little riff that goes with the bass. Now, the stab itself is down here, and it's this whole pattern here which goes like this. And all we want is the first note. That's all we want. And we're going to use the C key and the B flat key. And we transposed it down twice because it was actually in the key of D. So we went down from D flat to C. So that's 2 semitones. So we transposed it down twice. And then what you want to do is you want to just grab a ping pong delay and put that on and set the feedback to about 25% and the dry wet to 20%. And then I got an EQ8 and put the EQ8 on, and we just raised the middle and the high end area. Take it off. It's a little bit dull. We just brightened it up because it's only a 1-note riff that we're using. So let's just put on a beat and a congo. So yeah, that's what we're going to end up with. So all I want you to do is tune the key to transposed -2. So it's now down to the C. And then all you're going to do, if I just show you the pattern, is I'm just going. That's all it is. And that's it. That's all it is. So I'm going to press record here, and I'm going to show you what I want it to do with it. It's kind of like a hanging note. It's just the one little strum note. You know, it's just literally that short. So you can improvise it. You can have put a bit of bend on it if you want with your modulation pitch bend wheels. It's entirely up to you. So we've left it at that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the track here where we change the clavinet on the last lesson and the bass lesson. And then it comes in here like this. Like so. So we've got that, but also let's stick the bells in that we've done. And what we're going to do here with the bells, we're going to change this, and the pattern we want for the bells is very similar to the bass, but with 2 octaves. So we're going to go. So let's have a look at that then. So go up an octave, another octave. So what we're doing is we're going to put in this pattern now, and then I'm going to play it and I'm going to show you how we do it. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to change the colours of those two. I'm going to consolidate and then make it orange. Okay, so those bells then, let's have a look at them. So we start with the G and the D sharp. So it's very simple. You just get the G and the D sharp. Let's go up and down. And then down to the D, then the B flat, and then the G again, and then the G and the A flat, up to the C, and then down to the D again, A, B flat, and then we have 2 Fs on 1 octave to the other and 2 E's. That's it. Very effective, but very simple. So if you could try and copy that pattern there, or you could just play your own in using the C minor 7 chord that we've learned. Just play with the notes of G, B flat, C and D sharp. And then the last two will be F and E. Like so. And it just gives off that real sort of organic sort of sound, which is what we like. So let's look for that. So you've got the guitar in, and then the bells have changed. Got another crash there. And I think there what we could do is put in that conga again, so when it changes here. And then there what we'll do is we're going to change the crashes slightly. So we'll put in some different crashes here. So let's select the crash. And we'll just do like a fast, like this. So that it goes over with the percussion. And let's just put that percussion in and then press record here. And there we go, we've got like a build-up sort of crash. So if we go into that, open that up, and then you can see. There we go. So yeah, do something like that, a very simple little pattern that just brings the crash into a different sort of style for a second. Okay, so we've got that in. So let's just do a quick recap. We've got the guitars in, and we've put on the effects of the ping pong delay. Let me just check I've not put any reverb on that. I have, yes. So we've got the ballad reverb over here. Now, what I want you to do is go to your guitar stabs and turn up the send A to around about the 4 o'clock mark and solo it. See, it's dry now. And there we go. And we've got a nice reverb on there, really airy sort of reverb on there. So that would be that complete. Just turn the volume down a bit if you have to. And what we could do is we could pan the guitar, but we could do that later on. But mine sounds good on the right side. There we go. So that's that done. And then the bells, obviously, you've got your little. Okay, so now what we need to do is copy this entire section over again and again. And then get the drums in. Let's put some drums over. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put in some more of these there and there. Another crash there, another crash there. Sorry, there. Like so. One more there, and then this one there. The one that we did. Like that. And then this is going to take us over into the next part of the track. But first, before we do that, we're going to fill this gap here. 1, 2, 3. So there, we're going to bring in that one there. Okay. Let's have a look. Actually, let me just change this section here. I want to change. Yeah, we're going to delete the bass there. Delete the bass there and the clavinet there. Leave the bells, leave the guitar, and leave the congos as it is. Okay, because that's where this part's going to come in. So, let me just check that bass line. That's it. Right, so what we're going to do in the next session is we're going to put the main body of the track here. But first of all, what I want to put in here is the string machine sound. Okay, and that's the riff of... like that riff there. So we'll do that now. Let's just have a look at that and solo it.
Okay, so that starts on C5, so it's up to the D sharp, F, G, F, D sharp, C, B flat. So that's a really nice pattern, that. So we start on the C, up to the D sharp, F, G5, back to the F, D sharp, C, B flat, C, D sharp, back to the C, then the 2 octave thing here with the Fs and the E. So that's a pretty cool pattern, that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record that in there, and we'll go from here. Perfect, and there we go. I just need to tidy that up a little bit because a few dodgy notes I knocked. Open that up, and there you go. Let's just get rid of those E's there, which I did a mistake of. Make sure that they're all dragged over, and select them all and quantize, which is Control and U if you're on Windows. I think it's Command on the Mac. So make sure all your notes all the values of your notes all roll to each end of the line before the next one starts. So if there's a shortage like this, it will just sound, you know, cut off. So make sure that they roll right over so that they're streamed perfectly. Okay, so we've got that in, and we're going to put that across there as well. I just want to change the colour of that because it's too similar to everything else. We'll get pink, and there we go. And then that's when the next part of the track comes in. So head over to the next lesson where we're going to start more of the arrangement and put in the other guitar riff, and then we're going to change a few things around as well with percussion and stuff like that. So just a quick recap: you changed the bells, you got that riff in, you got the string machine riff in, and you got the guitar sample in with the simpler. Thank you very much for watching. Any problems, just email me and I'll respond in 24 hours. Head over to the next lesson and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to this lesson where we're going to sort out the guitar riff. Now, the guitar riff is a sample that we used, which I've taken from a sample pack, and it goes like this. And it's that one that we put in the introduction video. But what I've done is I've pitched it, as you can tell, from its original key. Now, if we go over to your samples pack, which you came with the course, and grab the guitar riff. And that's that in its natural form, and that's in the key of A. So we're going to put that into a audio channel down here. We're going to solo it, double click on it so you get up the menu, and we're going to change it from Beats to Complex Pro, and that just takes away a lot of the, you know, some of the transients change slightly with that. So what we've got is this riff now. And you don't have to put it into, you don't have to move the warp markers because we'll leave it as loose as we possibly can. Okay, so we've got that in. So what we need to do is, we need to change the key of it. So we're going to go to the transpose dial here. And with it being in A, we need to transpose it up 1, 2, 3 semitones so it gets to the key of C. So we just go 1, 2, 3, like that there. And now it will sound like this. And they're going to be exactly the same as this one. But what we need to do is we need to change the last two. So we're going to extend it all the way here, like that. So we're going to have the first part coming over again like this. And then when that F note and the E note change there, that's what we need to replicate. So we're going to select the first part of the riff here, which is those two, and we're going to copy and paste those two over like that. And then on the first one,
we need to take that up to the F. So we need to, this is bearing in mind that this is in C, so we need to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones. So we go up to 8. Okay? And then, that should be in that key. Let's just solo that. And then that's that done. And then the final one, we need to go to the E, which is 1 semitone down. So you could technically copy that over and just nudge it down to 7. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you've already put it in, you just go from 3 up to 7 that way. So that's on 8, and that's on the 7. Okay, let me just check that one is on the 8, and that's on the 3. And now it's in key. So if we put on the bass line, and there you go, we're back in, we're in business. Perfect. And that's that. So that's the guitar riff. So what we need to do is select them all and then consolidate that so that those 3 different keyed guitar riffs play together in one bar. So we don't have to worry about copy and pasting. So that's that done. And then what you want to do is you want to process it a little bit. So we'll add a little bit of reverb and some ping pong delay. So what I've done is, let's go back to the track, go to audio effects, ping pong delay, and I have put it at 25 and 32. I don't know why, but let's just go for 25 and 30. So let's go there and there, and there we go. And that just gives us the jangly looseness that it requires. We also want to put in a reverb, so just stick a reverb arm and 30%. And there you go. And then we put it into the track, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's just turn the volume up slightly, just make it a little bit louder. There you go. It will come down to a different level anyway when we come to mixing it down, which is usually the case. But for now, we've just got it as a nice level. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. And then that's that. That's the guitar riff. So now we've got pretty much everything in. All we've got to do eventually is just record the worm lead in, which is the main riff thing, you know, the classic Patrick Adams sound that we're aspiring to achieve. So we've got that in, and the guitar's been tuned, and it's had the effects added onto it. Now what we need to do is we need to go over to the arrangement and just see where we carried off from the last lesson. So we've got this built up here. And then here we need to put in, remember we deleted those bits from that section, so we need to put in the original bass, which I think we need to change the colour of so that we can differentiate it. So I'm just going to give it a blue colour. And I'm going to copy that over there, 1 and 2 there. And then this one is the original clavinet. I'm going to colour that in red, so we know that's the different one, and put that in there. And then we've got the string in anyway, we've got that there, so I'm going to put that over there and there. And we need to put the guitar riff in as well, so put that in there and copy that over there. I'm going to move this up here, because remember that Dex synth there, that's just for me, for the piano, for when I show you riffs and stuff, so ignore that. So that's that, and we've got a gap for the worm pad, which we can come to at a later date. So imagine we've got the track going like this, and this is where the main body of the track will now come in. So what I want to do is I want to copy that over again, like so, and pull that over and just make sure that they're all good to go. So here goes. Perfect. That's absolutely spot on. Because what's going to happen is we're going to start to fill the area with the worm lead. And then we're going to create just continuous improvisational lead lines throughout the track. So basically that's it. What we're going to do is into the next lesson we'll start to develop the arrangement more, and then we'll put in more of the worm lead, and we'll start to get that really, going and building that up. So any questions, email me and I respond in 24 hours, as you know. Head over to the next lesson and we will focus on the next part. Thank you and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to this lesson where we're going to continue with the arrangement. Now, in the last lesson, we got the main body of the track in, and now what we're going to do is we're going to extend the track, and then we're going to, in the last part of the track, we're going to put on the worm lead. So what we need to do is to arrange the track as best we can, and then we can start to put the worm lead on top of it. So with a lot of Patrick Adams type records and a lot of those disco records that were more less mainstream, should we say, a lot of them were very repetitive and just repeated themselves over and over again, but they had just different elements and different variations of the same thing. So like the lead line would be quite repetitive, but at the same time it would go off into different places, and we would change the bass line throughout as well. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to, after this main part here, we're going to continue to copy over the arrangement, but we're only going to have certain things in. So we're going to copy this like so, and highlight all that and put that over. And then what we're going to have is we're going to remove the bells, and we're going to remove the guitar stab. So let's get rid of those, and the string machine, get rid of that, and then we're left with this. That's perfect. And then what we're going to do is on the last two, we're going to get rid of those guitars like this. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy that over again, but we're going to let's just copy. Actually, I want to get the normal congo, the original congo we did without the bit at the end. So we'll copy that over for 2. Then we'll put a congo in where we change the end here like that. Okay. Copy the drums over. The drum pattern is pretty much the same all the way through. It's the same 4/4 kind of thing. You could really just do a lot. You could add your own percussion, and you could come up with something really creative there if you chose to. It really makes no difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to have that, and then we're going to put in the bass line, which is here, which is this one, and we're going to pop that in. Okay, but we're going to put in the stab clav as well, so it's like that. Okay, that's playing. And then we'll put the bells back in, because it's coming back again, it's coming back round. And then we'll put the lead line back in, which is the string machine. The crash. So then we'll put that there. And we'll copy over our percussion. We could put the guitar back in. I think that might be quite nice to put that there. Just like that. And then again we put over our crashers and our perks. We're going to add some little bits of different perks when we do a little drum breakdown in the next session, or in a session or two. We're going to put in some drum breaks and a lot of different percussive elements there. Okay, so we've done that, and then we're going to copy it again, the main body of the track for 4 instances, and that's going to go in there like so. So that's that part done. And then what we can do is we've got we can drop back to the bass line here, which is the normal bass line which we've got, and we're going to break it down slightly here. So we've got this as the main part, come round again. And then what we do is we copy it over 4 bass lines, which are them. Copy the drums, like so. And this is where we're going to start to, we're going to have a little bit of a breakdown here. And then we're going to copy that, get some normal congos, and then get the clavinet, which is the green one at the very start that we had, which is the drawn out one. Okay. Obviously the bass line needs to change there, so let's delete that bass line for the first 2. So what we do is we delete that. Again, this is all trial and error, don't forget. So we get the yellow bass, put that there like so for 2 times, and see what happens here. What we could do there is we could move this out of the way, get rid of that. We could copy that again, put that in there, and then we could have like some of the string machine coming back in, but in a different way, like so. I'm just going to record in a very straightforward lead line here. And that's just giving it a little bit of a different sort of element. And I'm going to just open that up and you'll see what I've done there. So the first bit is just an improvised. And then the second bit is just chords, which is the C minor 7 chord. You can see the notes there, look. We're going to put more of those in. And that's that bit done. Okay, so that's that in. And I think what we could do is we could put in the guitar riff halfway through both of them, just to build it back up like that. So it goes like this. And put some of the perks in. Crash. Delete that bottom one. Okay, and that one there. So we've got I put the congos in, if you notice there, the one where the congo changes at the end with the fill. And then we're going to take this off into the next lesson into a drum and percussion breakdown. So let's just recap. We've just covered all bases here where we've got the main body in, we've changed it there, we've put the main body back in, and then we've done the intro again in this section here, because this is going to lead us down to a breakdown in drums. Notes playing from the chord on the higher octave, and then we drop to the lower octave in the with the C minor 7 chord. Could put some bells in here. And then that's going to go off into a drum breakdown. So that's it for this lesson. I hope you've got everything you need there. Any problems, just email me. So yeah, just go ahead and do an improvisational string machine sound there where it breaks down over the rolling bass line that we've got there. So that's it for this lesson. So hopefully you've got everything you need, as I say. Any problems, just contact me. And I'll see you in the next lesson where we're going to concentrate on a drum and percussive breakdown. Thanks for watching and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to this lesson where we're now going to create the breakdown and the drum percussion solo. So we've got the main body of the track come back in on a second occasion here, and then we went over into this section with the lead line of the string machine, which went like this, which was building up towards a breakdown of drums. And all we're going to do is we're going to cut dead all of the instruments and just going to have the drum beat. So it goes like this. It's going to drop to the drum beat like that, and then we'll put in another one of the vibra slaps there. Okay, and then we'll put that one back in and that one back in, and then we'll get the congos. And this is just going to create a little build up. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste that over again, like so. And then here we're going to have a crash, and then there we're going to have a bass line come in. So we are going to get this bass line from here, which is that one. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do some percussive improvisation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the shakers, which are, let me just get this right, there we go. We're going to use these sounds. And we're going to use those triangles a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the overdub button is on here. And then here we're going to record, you could separate the channel if you wanted to, so you didn't mess about with the thing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to duplicate my percussion channel. I'm going to delete everything that was on it originally on the one channel. So keep that as it is. Change this percussion to yellow. And then I'm going to start improvising over here some more of the triangles. So here goes like this. Like that, and I'm just going to create that there, and I'm just going to open that up, and as you can see, it just starts off very gently and then it goes into a full sort of pattern. But the thing is with this, it can be, I'm just going to give you a guidance here of what to put in there. It's totally up to you what you want to put in throughout the rest of the breakdown. You know, don't feel restrained
of just restricted of doing what I'm doing. This is just a guidance. Go ahead and experiment with your own patterns. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to make sure that the overdub button is on, and I'm going to put on something else, and I'm going to put the shaker on, and it's going to come in at 177. There you go, and I'm going to overdub that, double click on that, and there it is at the bottom. I've just put that in there, and I'm going to quantize that. It just gives us an extra little bit of flavour. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to combine those two, and I'm going to open clip that, copy or paste them over. And it just adds extra to the track. And then just repeat that section, put that there. And then here we're going to have the Congo, the green part there. So you can just pull that over basically. And then copy the bass again. You could put some more percussion in here like this. Let's put that cowbell in. I think that cowbell would be cool there. So let's just do this. And there you go. And that's just on every one except the very last bar. I'm going to pull that across. I'm just going to make sure that the levels of those are as low as possible. Just like that. And then we're going to copy and paste that over again, that whole section. Like that. So we've got one crash there. And then what we're going to do here in this section, we're going to add some of the clavinet. So you could grab the one we did, which was that one, and bring that over there like that and there, or you could bring in your own. You could create another one, but for the purposes of the tutorial I'm just going to put that one back in. So it goes like this. And then we're going to copy that entire section again, and we're going to drop the cowbell this time, pull that over, get rid of the cowbell, put in the vibra slap, so that's there. But here we're going to bring in the lead line again, and it's coming back round again. That, and then we're going to grab the whole main body of the track again, and we're going to put that in there, and it comes around full circle. Make sure that you've got your perks in like that, and your crashes are in place like so. Okay, so you've done that, you've copied that over, and then make sure that you put the Congo on that bit there. So change those two red Congos to the green Congo, and then change those two Congos to a normal Congo. Let's just see how that goes, and then have the green one at the end. So it comes back round again, and don't forget we've got to do the worm lead yet. So we're gonna, the gaps that sound a little bit dodgy, they're going to be filled with the worm lead, which is really going to bring the track to life. So let's just go through what we've just done. We've gone from the build up here to the breakdown. And then this is the break bit where you can do anything you want. You could add some more bells if you wanted. Or you could add, you know, a little bit of the guitar. Or you could even have the worm lead once you get around to putting it in. But we're going to do that in the next lesson. So I mean, when it's in, once that's in, you'll just start to notice the difference in the track and the effect it has on the track, the actual lead line. So we built it back up with the percussion, and then we put the bass back in, then the clavinet and strings, the guitars, and back into the main body of the track. So it goes around one more time, and that's that. So that's the main end of the track, and then what we'll do is we will put it in one more time, like so, and then we can start to break it down. So we'll put in one more of that, so there's not too many of them, and then we'll break that down, and we can start to filter out some of the sounds and get rid of some sounds. So we put over a red percussion there, and we keep the bass going, and then we put the normal clavinet in, still keep that going, leave the string machine out, keep the bells going, keep the guitars going, and let's see what that sounds like. So I'm going to start lowering it down now. Let's take out the guitar stabs, so we'll delete the guitar stabs there, and we'll just have this bit. And then we'll copy it over again. And then this time, what we have... And then we get rid of the guitar riff. Change that to a green Congo. Put the crashes over, copy some more drums over. Let's keep the percussion going. Red, two reds, and we'll take out the bells and the clavinet here. Improvise again with the percussion here. You can put some more in. You could put a wind chime in actually on top of that bit. So copy drums over again 2 more times, 4 more times actually, and then we'll put the percussion back in there, then there, and then we'll have that there actually twice like so, and a crash at the very end. And some of the thingy bobs again there. So what I want there actually is I want that one and replace that with that, so that we've got those at the end like so. So it just breaks it down a bit and it changes it slightly. So once the bass ends here, put the wind chimes which are on the percussion. That would sound quite effective. So let's just add those to that. So I'm going to press record. Double click on that and there's the wind chime. And then it ends like so, with that wind chime. And there you go. So that is the main arrangement of the track. That's the main body of the track. It's quite a long track, but still, we've got everything in there now that we need. So let's just do a quick recap before we move on to the next session. We have done the drum breakdown. We've added the percussion, extra percussion there with the cowbells. As I say, please improvise with that and do, you know, as many different sort of techniques as you can with all these sounds. And then we've put in the basses again, and we've rebuilt the track, brought in the main body of the track again.
and then we've continued with the bass and the clavinet fading out, well, you know, passing out as we go along the track. Once the bells and the clavinet have gone, we're left with just a bit of the bass, then the drums finale, and then the end we've added the wind chime, and that's that. So all we've got to do now is add the lead line, and we're going to go into a little bit more depth with the worm lead in the next lesson. So if you have any questions, just email me and I respond in 24 hours, and head over to the next lesson where we'll focus on the final part of the arrangement, which is the worm lead. Thank you for watching and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to the final lesson where we're going to insert some of the worm lead line. Now in this lesson what we're going to do is we're going to record in a few riffs, and then we're going to place them throughout the track. We're going to get the main riff in with the main body of the track, the main horn, which is that section, and then when it's lighter in these sort of sections we're going to have a little different lead line in there, and then probably have it building back up here with a drum breakdown. So what we're going to do in this lesson, I mean, one way you could do this, right, is if you learn the blues scale, which I'm going to show you in a minute if you're not familiar with that. You do the blues scale and you just improvise and record all the way through the track, and then you pick apart little loops that you've recorded that you like. Or what you can do is just record in a few simple little loops and loop them over and replay them. So I'm going to go for the latter. I'm going to record in a few loops and then I'm going to put them into the right department of the track. So the lead line is the worm lead, and what I want you to do is get a ping pong delay and put that in, set the dry wet to 25% and the feedback at 30. And the vintage worm is this one. And we put the cutoff at between 6 and 7 and the resonance at about 7. Like so. And we've got the delay on there now also. So this track is going to be a little bit of an improvisation here. We're going to record various riffs and then see what we come up with. So the blues scale. I'm going to get a keyboard up so you can see what I'm doing. Right, the blues scale is this. It's C, D sharp, F, F sharp, G, B flat, and C again on the next octave. And then it just goes on and on up the keyboard. Okay, so we're going to use those notes for this. Because it's in C minor 7, we can get away with it and do it as much as we want. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit on here where we're going to bounce keys from one octave to another, and like this. Really fast, playing one against the other. And it's a technique that Patrick Adams had on some of his tracks. So, quick go through that again. C, D sharp, F, F sharp, G, B flat, C. And then you can just play along with it as much as you want. If you go and listen to Cloud 1, Spaced Out by Cloud 1, Patrick Adams classic, you'll understand exactly what sort of style I'm trying to go for in this track here. So I'm going to record in a few loops and a few build-ups and then the main part, and then we're going to improvise with the other bit. So let's have a look. Here goes. Just get that in there. We'll go from there. And we'll start lower down. Stop it there and see what we've got. And as I say, you can record in any kind of little pattern, any kind of riff. If you can see my notes there, really short, extremely short. So I'm going to quantize those and see what they sound like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chop that first bit out there, put that there, and put that there. So it's too much there. It comes in far too heavy. That's better. I'm going to get rid of that altogether, to be honest. I don't like it. So I'm going to put that there, and we've got this. That's loads better. And then it goes up a bit. Just going from one octave to the other. Perfect. So as I say, I've just gone from one octave to the other, which is nothing to it, just tiny little stabs. So that's what you should be aiming for the intro, so that you're giving it a little bit of, you know, a bit of a build up as such, rather than going straight in. And then we can start to enhance it here as the bass line comes in. So let's just kind of give it a bit of a build up here. Make sure that's on. Go. There's a whole load of stuff there that I've just brought in. So as you can see, I repeated that kind of similar pattern there, and then here we just kind of built on adding the similar sort of pattern to the build up to the first part. So we've got this bit going off. I'm just going to quantize this again. And here we go. Building up because I've gone up an octave. This is where the main hook is now, so we need to get this bit just right. Just make sure it's really effective. So that's quite nice. If you just have that, where you have these here, where I've joined them up, where they're equal, that's because they're triplets and they're played like this. Really fast cleave flicks from one to another. And when you quantize them, they join up onto the nearest line. But I don't want them on the nearest line. I need one of them over just before the start of this one. So you guys, let's look. So it goes like this. So it goes, plays like that.
that one. I think that one's a lot stronger than that one. So I'm going to replace that with that. That's really good. I want to replace that last one with that one. So, as I say, this is a purely improvisational thing. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but as long as you use the notes, you can go to far out places with it, which is really good. So just remember to build it up gently, and then go up an octave. If you can see, if you look at the screen, you see the dots getting raised higher and higher. And that's because the track's building, and so therefore the lead line builds with it. And you use the spacey sort of sound. So we've got the main hook of the track in there, which is sounding really nice. So I'm going to save that bit there. And now what we're going to do is we've got the chorus bit again, the main hook again. We're going to drop the lead line out maybe. Let's have a look, see what it sounds like. So what we can do is we could probably put a little bit more of a lead line in there, but nothing too heavy. So it goes like this. There you go. Just something like that. Nice and subtle. Nothing too heavy, and let's try quantize that. Get carried away with it, you know, you really could, but I think it's been nice to leave a little gap there and then bring it back in slightly here. I'm going to do that there. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to do that bouncing key technique where I'll go from one octave to the other and create that kind of spacey sound like that, and that's just going to build this section here. And I'm going to use the key of C and the D flat, the D sharp, sorry. Drop it out again for the main body of the track. So again, it's all about pure improvisation and just pure creativity, using the same notes but in different ways. There you go, look, just 2 different octaves. Pull that over slightly. Perfect. perfection of this is the imperfection of it, because a lot of it's out of time a little bit, and it's a little bit rough and a little bit jagged, and that's the good thing about it. I'm just going to change the colour of it because I've realised that it's orange and it's next to that, and it's going to mess with my eyes. And then it's going to drop out for this section of the main body, and then we're going to bring it back in here for where the string machine has its build up as well. So here goes. And then you could do something crazy like that at the end with a note that really just rolls over and just gets modulated and bends itself out. Just simple notes again. Up an octave. Pretty good, like that. That's good. I'm going to shorten that last note though. I don't want it to go over too much. I'm just going to bring it back in a bit. That's better. Okay, so that's that bit done. So again, just a little bit more of improvisation on that, and then we're left with the breakdown, which we want to leave anyway, until it gets to this section. Do is you could copy over the ones that you did originally, which were not the first two but the second one. Put that there in time with the string line, and then copy over bring over the original one. There's a note at the start of that shouldn't be there, so let's get rid of that. So we'll delete that note. That's better. And then again the main body comes back round and we put in this one, original one. Perfect. And then we copy over again the last one, which is, let's just repeat that one there and repeat that one there, like so. Okay. Right. Also, what we need to do here is where this percussion continues. We're going to continue this percussion. We should have done this in the previous lesson. Just up until that point there. And then we're going to select those four that we should have copied over, consolidate them, open them up, and we're going to get rid of the triangles and just keep the egg shaker, because it dips slightly there. I notice it dips when it changes over back into the main body. And that's it. That is all that we're going to do for the worm lead line in the main body of the section. And on the outro, you could have a few little notes where you're...
subtle end in there just to give it a little bit of a fold out, of a way to bow out, so to speak. And that's it. I'm just going to put that there. And that's it. That's quite a lot to take in there, but that's it for the lead line. As I say, it's just pure improvisation with the blues scale. And all you've got to do is just record as many little riffs in as you can. I'll show you the main body one again, and then it goes like this, look. And that's that. So as I say, go off and make sure that you just try and improvise with that lead line as much as you can and record in various different riffs and patterns, and just cut and paste the best ones that you like the most, and then just put them all into place, because the track is the same all the way through. It's the same bass, the same notes. They just kind of change now and again slightly, but it's still the same notes we're using. So you can get away with playing the blues scale in any style at all, any shape, or in any order. So that's that for that lesson. There's a lot to take in there, but it's just because I'm playing a lead line that's improvised and it's not been structured. So I implore you to go away and just record as many different versions of a lead line as you possibly can. So any questions, just email me, and I will see you in the next and final lesson, where we do a mix down of the track and bring it all together. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to this lesson where we've now completed the arrangement and we're going to focus on the mixing down process. Now in this tutorial, all we're going to focus on is the drum beats and the percussion sounds. Now if you're not familiar with the mixdown process, then this tutorial is just basically going to give you a simple outline of how to mix down a track. It's not going to go in depth to it, because mixdowns can take hours and hours upon end, and you'll always get a different result each time. So this one is basically just a simple mixdown, giving you the basic fundamental tools to get a good all-round sounding track. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the drum beat only, and we've got the drum beat here, which is basically the same 4/4 beat all the way through, which is your hi-hats, your snare and your kick drum. But what we want to do is we want to kind of raise that a little bit. So we're going to go to the mixing panel here, where you can see the levels, and what we're going to do is we're going to get a compressor up here in your effects rack, and we're going to put that there like that, join it onto the there, like so, and we're just going to pull it down the threshold to about -10, and that'll do there like that. It just gives it that little bit of lift, and make sure that your master channel is somewhere between -12 and -6, because that's for when you make the track and you mix it down. It's -6, so that if you do go and send it off to a mastering engineer or a mastering company online, they'll be able to have enough headroom to mix it down and to do a final master on it. So more about that later, don't worry about that just now, but I'll put a compressor on, and then what we want to do is we want to get a drum bus and put it on the individual kick drum channel down here on your actual drum rack. And that's the good thing about drum rack, you can put individual effects on each drum sound very easily, and that's just going to make the kick thump right through. And there you go, can you feel that straight away? Take it off. You can mess about with the damp and the crunch. You can put a boom on it if you want. I'm going to put a bit of boom on it at about 40%, and the drive obviously is what makes it louder. So where it was absolutely fine, which is 20%. And the boom, I'm going to leave it about 30. In fact, I'm going to make it 20% just to make it sure. And that's good. And then what we want to do is we want to get an EQ8, and we want to put that onto the open hi-hat and the closed hi-hat. And then we'll do the closed hi-hat first, where we can see that. So we click on the actual closed hi-hat, and we're going to raise the top end and take away the bottom end. So we're going to close that, change number 3 to a low pass filter. We're going to cut all this out, and we're just going to have a high pass here. can hear it coming through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get another EQ8 and put that on the open hi-hat, like so, and repeat the process. Take away 1 and 2, change 3 to a low pass, bring it down and raise number 4 slightly. And there you've got a nice crisp drum pattern. Okay, so what we need to do now is do the snare. So we get an EQ8 on the snare, put that in on the snare, and we're going to raise the middle section here. Possibly bring up number 4. And bring down number 1 a bit. And there we go. And that's that. And then we're going to move on to the crash. So we're going to solo the crash along with the drum rack. And then we'll go over to the crash channel. And what we're going to do with the crash is we've got the EQ cut off already. And we've taken it down. And we're just going to raise it a bit more. There you go. And that just needs to be quite crisp and clear, really. Nothing major. And that's fine. And that's coming through nice and sharp. And the next thing we want to do, really, is the perks. Let's just loop the perk here we've got. In fact, let's go to the perk, which is all the way down here. And we've got a nice reverb on them. Turn it down a bit. Make it at about 3 o'clock. And then go to the actual track itself. And we want to put some EQ on it, EQ8. Let's just make sure that we've got this right. And then we're going to just make sure that that's punching through nice and clear. So just like that, we're going to bring the bottom down on the number 4 bit. Bring 1 all the way down. Change that to a low pass. And bend it round. And there you go, listen to the difference in that. Really punching through. And make sure the volume's around about just above 12 perhaps. You can turn it to the left. I think the best thing to do really would be to put it to the left of the panel on the panning. So slightly turn it to about 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock. Because what we're going to do next is we're going to put on the other percussion, which is the triangles, and we're going to pan those to the right, like so. And then we'll go to the percussion on here, and now we're going to do this channel. EQ8, and this has got the egg shaker and the triangles. So what we've got here are 2 sounds. We're going to lose number 1, lose number 2. Number 3 is going to be a low pass again. We're going to cut out all that bottom end. See there, it's all muffled. We want it to be crisp and clear. And bring the volume down a bit. Make it about the same on the reverb, but pan it to the right, like 2 o'clock. And that sounds okay. And now we're going to do the congos. So let's look at the congos. We've got the reverb and the delay on there, and we'll pan them to the right also. So let's put an EQ8 on, and the middle section here, this is where all the congo frequencies are, in the center here really. So we're going to pull these up and just raise these, and make sure that your EQ is not clipping, your level's not clipping. You don't want to get too high because it just becomes echoey. Just want it to be quite thuddy and quite essential in the mix. So we're going to put that on with that. And going back over it, I'm just going to look at the kick, it's the drive. I'm going to take the boom down to 10% and the drive down to about 15. Just help it out a bit. bring down the level of the Congo a bit, bring the triangle down a bit, just so it's right on the nought. And that's it. That's all it is for this lesson. So let's just quickly go through that. We went on to the kick drum and we put a drum bus with the driver 15%, and we've messed about with the boom and centered it around the 10% mark. You don't have to, it's just an additional thump that you can create with the drum kick. Put a compressor on it at about -10 dB, and then we put on the closed hi-hats, we put an EQ on them and cut the bottom end out quite heavily, and raised the top end of those too. And on the snare, we used the number 2 dial on the EQ and raised that quite dramatically and lowered the bottom end of the frequency on the snare. And then we did the crash, and the crash was pretty much done already, where we took off the bottom end and curved it around and raised the top end of it slightly. The percussion, one of them got treatment that was very different to its original sound, which really brought out the frequencies in the middle area, and we did that. Then we did the other percussions, which was the triangles, and we've just raised those up and really made them clearer, and the congos have been focused on the middle EQs, okay? So that is it for this lesson. We've done a quick basic mix down, and we've brought out the frequencies of certain drum sounds, and they've made them sound a lot more clearer. We've made them sound a lot more clearer and a lot more thumpier. And that's that. They sound really good. And once we start to put on the bass and the guitars and the strings, it'll all come together nicely. So that's it for this lesson. Any questions, just email me and I respond in 24 hours. Thank you very much for watching, and head over to the next lesson where we focus on the bass and the guitars. Thank you and goodbye. Hi, and welcome to this lesson where we're going to continue with the mixdown. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the bass guitar and the 2 lead guitar lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the guitar stabs up underneath the bass, and I'm going to move the guitar underneath the bass. There's no real reason for this, it's just that I keep everything that's similar together. So I keep all the drums together, then the bass guitars together, and then we'll keep the synthesizers and the the tuned percussion sounds together. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the bass. And I remember with the bass we put a little bit of EQ on initially in the first place, and I'm just going to loop it with the drums that we've got. So it's quite a good bit going on there. We put the compressor on it. If we open up the actual synth in the contact player, there's nothing really that we need to change in that. I'm quite happy with the way it sounds because it's just got a real natural sort of sound to it. So we've put the compressor in and we've raised the number 2 on the EQ. You could go a little bit higher, put the drums on now they've been processed. So just raise number 2 on the EQ. You could take off the top end if you wanted to solo that. But then you lose those sort of little characteristics in the notes. I think it's quite nice with it up. So yeah, if you just put it on with the newly processed drums that we've EQ'd, it's really thick. It's got a nice sound to it. And if you see, the levels are just right, and we've panned it slightly to the left. So we could pan it a little bit more, say about 11 o'clock. So that's that. So yeah, I'm happy with that bass. Just leave it as it is. You could do a little bit more processing to it. You could put some reverb on it, but as I say, I think there's a reverb already added on here, which is this club one, which again is just left so it's natural. Just leave it like that. I wouldn't put a delay on a bass, not on a live bass guitar anyway, because it's not really needed. So that's that. Next up, we're going to loop the guitar stabs. Now with the guitar stabs, you need to find a section where it is relevant, which is there and there. So we're going to loop that. And we've got the one note playing there. We've got a ping pong on of 20%, 25%. And the EQ is just raised the top end. We've left the first two bottom end ones as they are. You could bring this one down a bit and thin it out. Just bring it out there. And then we're going to pan it to the right. It's already been panned up. We've panned it already to the right and we've put on a reverb. So really there's not a great deal we need to do to that. Just make it a little bit thinner on this side so that it complements with the bass. And that's that. Again, all we have to do with it is that. Next up is the guitar riff. Now obviously when we're recording stuff live, if you're recording a real guitar, because unlike myself, I have to use guitar loops because I don't play guitar, and it's just quick and easy for tutorials sometimes, just to get the message across. But if you can play guitar yourself, or you know someone that plays funky guitar, then by all means use them. So with these sort of riffs, they've been processed usually by the recording artist who's made the sample pack. But obviously if you bring in your own guitarist, you're going to have to process it yourself. But this has been processed, and all I've done with this is added a reverb and a ping pong delay at 30% and 25%, and put on a 30% reverb. There's no EQ done on it yet, so I'm going to put an EQ on it. And again, it's all centered around the middle here. And I just think just gently just raise the top end and the middle. Put the bass on. And then the stabs. Bring the level down a little bit. Put the level up on that bit. And we're going to keep this central panned. We're not going to pan it to the left or the right. We're just going to keep it central. And just tip the volume slightly so that it's not too overpowering. So it just sits nice in the mix. It's not on top of everything. It's just gently right in the middle of the other two guitars, the bass and the guitar. And there you go. There's a nice crisp guitars and bass, both panned, and you pan the bass to the left, you pan the guitar to the right, and you kept the guitar riff in the middle, the rhythm guitar. I'm still just going to turn that one down a little bit. Perfect. That's all we need to do with that. So there, just a quick recap. We've done the EQ on the bass, and we've left the natural reverb on the actual contact player. Just raised up the bottom end slightly of the bass. Guitars, we've just done, the top ends, and on the other guitar we've just raised the top end slightly and left the panning natural state in the middle. So that's it for this lesson. Head over to the final lesson where we're going to do the last four instruments, which is the clavinet, the string, the worm lead and the bells. Thank you very much for watching. Any problems, just email me and I'll get back to you soon. Thank you and goodbye. Hi and welcome to the final lesson of the mixdown process. In this lesson we're going to focus on the keys and the lead lines. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to keep soloed what we've already done, which was the guitars, the bass and the drums. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the clavinet. And this is the sound that, is the main riff of the track, as you all know, the main chord. And what we did with this was, obviously, we put on a phaser,
which just gave it that kind of 70s vintage sound. So if I take the phaser off, it's really aggressive, and now we've really moulded it to like a wah-wah sort of phase thing. So what we need to do is just put a bit of EQ on, and what we need to do is keep that warmth, which is centered around the middle. And again, it's like the guitar riff. We want to keep it in the central. We don't want too much top end, because there isn't anyway. As long as it sits well with the bass and it's not got too much muddiness on the bottom, it'll be absolutely fine in the mix. Which is what we've done here, just took down the bottom end a bit and focus on the middle. It's in the same area as the bass. And if we go over to it, we've got it not panned yet, so let's pan it to the left slightly. Well, let's pan it to the right. It sounds better on the left with the bass. Yeah, I really like that. I think that sounds good. It's panned to the same side of the bass, and it just sits quite nicely in the mix. So yeah, just a little bit of EQ on there, and mould it around the central part of the mid range. You know, somewhere around there. So like the 800 hertz and around the 245 hertz. Okay. Next up then is the string machine, which we've got, and we put an EQ8 on it. And what we want to do is, if you can see, the frequencies are really in that section only. So we're just going to bring up number 4. But we don't want it to be too thin. We don't want it to be too tinny. So what we need to do is just get rid of the bottom end 1 and 2. Change number 3 to a bottom filter, to a low pass. And keep it around there. Because if we lose the tinniness, if we make it too tinny, it's just going to lose its character. So we need to keep it around those figures there. Take it off. Somewhere like that. Pan this slightly to the right. And then we're going to put on a little bit of reverb, say about 12 o'clock. Nice. Sounds good, that.
So yeah, just do a little bit of reverb on there about 12 o'clock, pan it to the right at about 1 o'clock, and just have the EQs around this area. So you take away the bottom end, because there isn't really any bottom end on it, and it's just quite phasey anyway. So we'll have it there, but just with a little bit of top end, so around the 3 mark, 3 hertz, something like that, 3.30 should I say. And that's that. And let's go over to the track and then just flip that around, put the bells there. So we're going to work on the bells next, which is this. And if you remember, what we did was we put on an auto filter and just took it down a little bit so that it gives it a little bit of vibrato, so it's a little bit of a wobble. So if I take that off, it sounds like, you know, flat. Nothing in it at all. So we put a little bit of auto filter on it, and we want a bit of EQ on there. So let's just see what it sounds like with EQ. In the middle and the top end. Let's get the main bit on, because it's a high pitched trebly instrument. We don't need the bottom 2 on. We could change that to a high pass, bring it down again. And there, just bring it up slightly, just raise it a little bit so it shines through a little bit. And pan it to the left. Sounds better when you pan it to the right, so I'm going to pan it to the right at about 1 o'clock, and then it just blends into the mix nicely and subtly in the background, but you can still hear its little chimes, but it's not at the forefront, which is a good thing. And then put a bit of reverb on it about 10 o'clock. Come through really nicely, nice and crisp. Right, so we've got that in there, and we've got everything sitting tightly. All we've got to do now is do the worm lead, which is obviously the main focus point of the track, and that is obviously the lead line we did, which goes. We put on a ping pong earlier. I think it's already got. We can put some reverb on and set it at about 10, just to give it a little touch. Pan it to the right. Now this obviously needs to probably be panned centrally, maybe. I want to keep the lead line central so that because it's the main thing of the track, we want that to stand out more than anything. So let's try and keep it central and get an EQ8. And just carefully watch where it goes here, because it's going to have high end, it's going to have bottom end. You've got to kind of mould it around slightly, quite gently, really. Not too much. Goes up as the more EQ you put up, bring down your master volume on your level volume on the channel.
And there you go. If I play the worm lead at different intervals here, it comes up here in the low end, but when it's even down here, it's more central here. You could add a few more, levels raising up, but it's quite a nice sort of fat sound anyway. And the sort of sound we're going for in this whole track is a vintage sort of sound. So we don't want it to be too clean, but at the same time we don't want it to be too gritty and muddy. But having said that, the whole thing seems to have come together quite well. And it sounds like a really genuine sort of track from the 70s. And all your levels are right, you've got all your levels, there's nothing clipping through the mix. You've got your master channel between 12 and 6 minus. You've panned most things, except the worm lead and the rhythm guitar. And that is it. That's the mixdown done. Track complete. You could spend a lot longer on it if you were, you're not getting the right sort of desired sound. But what I've given you throughout these mixdown tutorials is just the very basic fundamentals of what you need in order to make the track, sound like a fully professional track. Obviously, there's loads more stuff you can use. You can use glue compressors, multi-band dynamics on certain sounds, but the basics are given to you there in this tutorial for you to now go off and make tracks of your own in this style using these sort of techniques and these sort of sounds and elements put together. All you need to do now is bounce the track and take it and play it in your DJ sets, or listen to it in your car, listen to it on your phone, listen to it in different arenas and different headsets and earphones and stuff, and just get a good feel for it. And also, these tutorials are good for mixing down purposes and technique purposes, where you want to learn certain specific things rather than the whole thing. So you can take from this what you will. You can even release the track you make, whatever you do. Please try and send me the tracks if you can, if you upload them to SoundCloud or whatever, and let me have a listen to them. I'd love to hear what you've done. So yeah, that's it really. One more thing I would say is, if you're not too familiar with bouncing down in Ableton, what you need to do is get a track that is perhaps MIDI at the start and have a little blank section here. So just draw some blank MIDI in there, just a couple of seconds, and then at the end of your track have a few seconds again, so when your last sound enters, it won't just cut off like that. When you do the mixdown, it'll tail off and it'll roll all the way to the end, because you can hear those wind chimes still playing, and they've just faded now. So you've got extra seconds there for the track to be a complete track. And the same for the start. You've got a second or two there, look, before it kicks in. So if it wasn't like that, it would kick in like something like it would like that. It would start like that, because it's not had the extra bit at the start, like the intro silence, so to speak. So that's it. Thank you very much for taking part in this course. Any problems, just get in touch and I'll respond within 24 hours. I hope you look forward to making this sort of disco music yourself now, and taking confidence from it and adding it to your own work and taking your own productions to the next level. Thank you very much for watching. Any problems, just email me and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. Thank you very much and goodbye.